Right now, I got to point out, you got something on your jersey right now.
It listens to everything that is happening. It breaks down my to-do list. It helped me with my relationship. I was like, yo, what am I not seeing in my relationship? And I was like, oh.
Everybody's guessing what's going to happen in 2026.
The biggest issue I have is the over-promising. Humane Pen was like, it could do all this. And then when you get it, it's like, soon to come. Apple hasn't improved in God knows how long. It's just looking at the market and being like, okay, let's just fill the gap. I'm seeing the rise of Substack all of a sudden.
Yes, one of my members made $12,000 in the last few days off of her Substack, not from their monetization, but because she learned how to build an offer and she offered a $6,000 offer.
Wow. We're not surrounded by people when we create content. That's in our head. I have to be comfortable with talking to myself. If I don't like myself, how am I going to expect other people to like me? Creating content as an introvert is more of a battle with yourself than with people.
If I'm going to be replaced if I don't do anything, what do I do to stop that? There's multiple things to do. And the people who know how to use these tools are the people who are going to be irreplaceable.
Facts.
Where were you 10 years ago?
10 years ago, just getting out of the Navy type vibe. I was in the Navy for 9 years.
And you have affected and impacted thousands and thousands and thousands of people. What's that message you have for anybody who is like, I don't know where to start?
It started really clicking when I really figured out.
How would you describe what it is you do in life?
Man, first, I gotta state that I'm just a kid from Queens. I gotta stay with that. But if we explain what I do, I help just people turn their thoughts into content so they could become global brands and not necessarily overthink. There's too many different tools now that will allow the person who thinks they're not creative, they're too busy, they just don't have the time to now realize that they could build a consistent brand. So if I had to say something, that would be, that's my mission, what I want to do. And I think that's coming out.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
And you have affected and impacted thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And you do that a few different ways. One way is now through YouTube.
Yes.
You know, you kind of conquered the social game, and then in the last few months, you've just blown up on YouTube. And I've watched every step of it. It's been really fun to watch it.
Thank you.
Right now, I got to point out, you got something on your jersey right now. I saw that in one of your videos.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that is and how it works?
Oh, this is my cheat code. So it's the Limitless AI pen or pendant. I call it pen, but it listens to everything that is happening. Everything from content that I'm watching to things that I'm saying, and the way that I use it, because people will use it in different ways, right? But the way that I use it is based off what you've heard, I said, and what I've listened to, give me about like 10 content ideas for the day, right? Also, it gives me like a weekly recap, a monthly recap on top content ideas that I have, business ideas that I have, and what am I not seeing in myself. So it's good that I have something that is recording all the time because one, I'm a geek. And so like, I'm not doing anything crazy, right? But two, something that I could just have a conversation with, and I don't have to necessarily rely on my mind to remember everything. So it's like, oh man, I watched something, I forgot what it was about. Boom, I can talk to it, and it has its own app, and it recaps everything that I listen to. So yeah, it's a game changer for me.
Limitless AI. So it has an app. You go on your phone, and it, like, how often does it download or give you the notes?
As long as you open the app, like every single time it takes more and everything like that. So every night I'll just open it up, it recall, and it gives you, what's great, it's called a life log. So it will break it down into times. You could re-listen to it. And what's crazy is that like, it's really good for when you go to events, because I can't remember nothing at events, right? Blame my ADHD. So I will go, it will record, and I'll be like, damn, what did she say about TikTok? And it'll break it all the way down. And the audio, you can replay the audio, and it's really good. It's surprisingly really good, because I was all the way in the back, and I heard everything.
That's amazing. I like what you do there because I know somebody right now is saying, well, that's like you're recording stuff, but you have it out here.
Hmm.
So it's not like you're trying to hide and like
No.
sneak and have a voice recorder in the back. It's like this is, do you think people are going to be doing this left and right?
Yes. So I know there's this protocol, I forgot what it's called, but the doctors are already trying to get this in their practice
Yeah.
because they already have like scribers, they pay for scribers to follow them. This is going to replace them or like other forms of this. And I do believe that it's going to help just high performing people to like not have somebody always around them like, yo, what did I say, what did I do, get like
Mm-hmm.
that mini assistant situation. This take care of everything for me of like, okay, give me my to-do list because I know I said a lot of things yesterday. It breaks down my to-do list.
Yeah.
It helped me with my relationship. I was like, yo, what am I not seeing in my relationship? They're like,
Yes.
you give the solution too much, so just listen
Mm.
more. And I was like,
Whoa.
oh, okay. So like from a
Wow.
personal and a content wise and everything, it's amazing.
Yeah. Do you have an affiliate link for it?
I do.
Okay,
They
because
gave it to me.
I'm gonna buy one. And I
Okay.
also want to put the link in our description when this comes out. So
Absolutely.
I want to buy one, and I also want anyone watching this to be able to get one from your affiliate link. So we'll put the link in the description below.
Yeah, it's a
And
game changer.
it sounds like, and I know, like, again, like when I look at things like the Meta glasses that
Hmm.
record, I I think about the privacy side of that. I think
Yeah.
about like, do I want to live in a world where someone is always filming me or I could always be in somebody's footage?
Hmm.
So what do you say to that when someone is scared of that world that we're kind of walking into?
We're already in that world. Why you
Mm,
like and I break it down in a way of if you was to get in trouble, they have all these cameras already watching you,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so it doesn't we're already being recorded, seen, stuff like that. For me, I rather control the narrative a little bit more. I
mm,
rather have control of what I record, what I recover, what like I don't have access to like what they are seeing over there,
yeah,
right? We were getting
yeah,
scammed before AI got popular. Not before
right,
AI, but before AI
right.
got popular, right? People were already duplicating our voices, cloning certain things, not as apparent now, right?
Mm,
So there's always going to be fear in new technology. There's always going to be worry because we're, creatures of habit. So it just depends on your look of things of do you look at it as I don't want to like be in this world of where I'm recording everything or I'm being recorded everywhere and that like I said, you swear somebody won't pull out the phone on you if you do something crazy. So
mhm, mhm, mhm,
what's the
mhm.
difference? What is
Yeah, yeah,
so now granted, I'm there's there's definitely a discipline and being respectful. Like if you know you're going to a place or having certain conversations, like you could turn it off. It's not always on. You feel what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
yeah,
I could turn it off at any moment. It and that gives people reassurance like, okay, cool. Like
yeah.
you ain't going crazy. But I don't for me personally, I don't have crazy conversations. I'm truly the geek of like I just want to talk about brainstorming ideas. What are we doing next? What is
Yeah.
next content? Like that's all I care
You're
about.
basically saying you don't have anything to hide.
I don't.
And so if anybody were to capture something from you, it's except for like private moments, like if someone were
Yeah.
to capture something you out in the world or you in a conversation, they would just capture good stuff. Like like they wouldn't you couldn't catch me out. And I see it both ways. I mean, honestly, I
Yes.
see it both ways because I do see like this world of like surveillance being scary, like this
Right.
surveillance, and I totally get your point of they're going to survey us anyway or surveil us
Yeah.
anyway. Why not survey them back? You know, like
That's what I'm saying.
have it back and have that. And I can understand, like in that new world, if everybody's walking around with the glasses and everybody
Hmm.
can take a picture, that maybe we should all have that. So what's something else that like have you tried those glasses that
I
film?
have them.
Have
Absolutely.
them.
I
Yeah.
have them. Now, that's a little bit more easier just because you're not recording 24/7,
Yeah, it's
right?
like 60
But
second clips, right?
yeah, but I was at an event and somebody was talking to me like on a testimonial stuff. I'm not gonna be like, hold on, my videographer's over there. Come here. Like, let's record this. I just
Yeah.
hit that real quick and it recorded the whole
Oh,
testimonial.
it's so true. Like, you know how many times I do a book signing and somebody will say something, and if I'm not, if I have my team like filming, and my team is my brother and my
Hmm.
sister-in-law, if I have them filming me, I hope that we capture it because that one
Yeah,
moment happens, you never know. But if I had the glasses, I mean, I guess I would have to have glasses. That's not the best, but if I had something that was like the pendant
yeah,
that could capture that,
yeah.
that would just be amazing. That would, because that,
It'll get there. I'm waiting for it now. For me, I took the sunglasses part out. I just like
oh,
yeah, because I bought the original when it was just the shades and everything. Now they
yeah,
have like the clear joints.
okay.
But I just took that because I like blue and I haven't seen the blue one in clear. And I just popped it out. I'm not buying another pair, but it's now I will say this. I the the feature where they're saying, look, you could talk to AI as much as you want. Hey, do you see that? Like, I don't use that very often because I'd be
Mm,
forgetting. Like, it's not like I talk to Siri a lot. So why would I go,
right.
hey, Meta, what is this? Now, sometimes
Yeah.
um I'll do that, but I'm so used to talking to ChatGPT that
Yeah.
I forget that I have the
And
glasses on.
And maybe we will, it's so naturally, one way or the other, maybe we'll just say that. It reminds me too, like maybe we'll just say, like, oh, I like that piece of furniture that I see here at my friend's house, or I like that color on that building. Like, what is there any
Yeah.
kind of clothing that I can buy, shoes that are that color, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're headed. But it
Yeah.
reminds me of this break, like brand new thing that we heard about. OpenAI is acquiring Johnny Ive's company for $6.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny Ive, like he designed the iPod, the iPhone, the everything
Crazy.
at Apple that we have come to know. This
Crazy.
man who is a living legend is
Yes.
now at OpenAI. So everybody's guessing what's going to happen in 2026. What are they going to reveal by the end of 2026, which is their timeline for something? What
Mm-hmm.
do you think that could be? Even if it doesn't end up being it, what does something like that, what would be cool?
So there's so many possibilities, so many possibilities. It depends on the route they want to go. Of course, I instantly think about what is going to be the new computer, right? And I do
Mm.
believe that they're going to have their own version of like a new phone, right?
Oh,
That
really?
yeah, I do believe that, right? Because it's something that will be able to have the camera, that will have audio, listen to you and things like that. I don't
Yeah.
know if maybe the very first thing is going to be like a laptop or a super computer kind of thing, but I do
Hmm.
think it's going to be mobile where it will
Yeah.
be easier to use both open AI and have the real world still in that situation. So I I'm going to bank on that. But I will hope for what you asked for, where it's like just a little pin that could now like record all the stuff that you see, hear, all of that.
Yeah.
That would be so amazing in my life, at least, because it'd be like boop, and then
Oh,
just a different version of a POV, and you don't have to worry about wearing anything per se, except for like little accessories.
yeah. I wonder even like, it's kind of weird, but I wonder if having something like that would make people treat you better. You know how we go
Mm.
through life and we have all these like you wouldn't believe what that woman said to me or what they told me to get their
Hmm.
stuff. Like if people knew that they were being like watched, kind of like
Hmm.
the cop videos, would
Yeah,
they do a little bit better? I don't know. And like
I
maybe
don't
people would
know.
say, I don't want to be in the room with you. I don't you're filming. But I think about that little pin that Humane tried to
Oh, that sucked.
build.
I bought that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Bought that
so
too.
they tried to build it. There were some people from Apple, and then they raised so much money.
Yeah.
And then this pen came out, and I mean, it was supposed to do all this stuff, like kind of the stuff we wanted to do, like we're
Yeah.
talking about, but they
Yeah.
just couldn't get it to work. I wonder why, like, makes you wonder why they didn't start with, okay, let's do like an audio pen. We start there and then we go to this. You think they were trying to do too much?
Yeah, they definitely did. And I don't like my personal experience of trying it, like I don't see myself putting my hand up and like I couldn't even press my hand. I had to like have certain like I felt like gang signs was happening with no with like I don't know what was going on. It was so hard to navigate and I do believe they're trying to have kind of like a super small mobile computer, less distractions because of, mental health and like the doom scrolling. I see where they were trying
Yeah,
to go.
yeah.
They had really good intentions. I don't see why they didn't shift in just like, okay, let's reduce the features. Okay, y'all
Mm,
complain about this. Let's just focus on two things, right? Let's focus on two things and then figure out if we just got to upgrade the model, if we got to maybe do another upgrade and then add another feature. But their execution was just horrible. And then, given to the right influencer, that thing killed
ooh.
it.
Both
Marquez
it was Marcus,
Brownlee,
yeah, Marcus Brownlee and Mr. Who's the Boss.
yes,
I
killed
think
it.
that's, yeah, both of them, and they have tens of millions of viewers.
Yeah,
But then a
killed it.
bunch of other people did too, because and both of those people seemed very nice. Like they weren't
Yeah,
trying to like tank this
yeah,
thing, but it was like it
yeah.
was almost insulting for them to put this out to market, charge people
For
for it,
that
and for it to,
price.
yeah, and for it to be so bad.
Yeah,
And at the same time, I'm always playing devil's advocate. It's like, people have audacious goals. They're daring to try, but go ahead and dare to try on somebody else's dime.
facts.
You know?
Like, I do believe version one it always sucks, right?
Yeah.
A version one of any product, regardless of the backing, is always not going to be the full vision that you have. Cool, you got to get it out to market. Absolutely. However, like, be realistic with where AI is, right? As far as we're still trying to get used to it. So
Mm,
you saying this is the most evolutionary kind of product in the world and try to go super big when we're just still trying to write a prompt makes no
right.
sense. Like
Right.
it
Right.
just makes no sense. So it was, and then of course the biggest issue I have is the over promising. And that's just like
Mm,
Apple just did that with their iOS situation too, where it's like Apple Intelligence could do all this. And so Humane Pin was like, it could do all this. And then when you get it, it's like soon to come. When? And
yeah.
then, and then, and then, then we got the email of, hey, your subscription is it's about to be canceled because we're done. We're
Yeah.
over. We got bought out.
Yeah, I definitely ordered it. I have to even say this, I'll go even further and say I was trying to invest in it early on because I'm an investor
Yeah.
and my company, invests, and I was locked out of deals. I couldn't get into
Mm,
deals. And then I was like, I always think there's a reason for stuff. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I dodged a bullet, like I didn't have to deal with that. But it's just, I think there was a little hubris, like people were being
Yeah.
a little cocky with it, like it
Yeah.
was just a
No,
little,
that
because it
even their
just,
advertising.
was it? Yeah, it was like it
Yeah.
promised the world. It really did. It was like this is the new frontier. So when inevitably when this announcement happened
Hmm.
that OpenAI was buying Johnny Ive's company and you start
Yeah.
thinking Apple, OpenAI, the
Yeah.
first thing people started thinking was that's cool, but are we going to have Humane 2.0 come out? Is it going
That's
to be
smart.
anything that
That's a
people
smart
don't want?
thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have it both because both have really good track records.
they
I mean,
do.
like Humane didn't have like just because you grab from here and there doesn't necessarily give you a good track record when you're doing it now solo.
Yeah.
They have good track records and a lot of backing, right?
Yeah.
So especially now that it's even more public, people are going to champion it because Johnny is definitely loved in the design world.
Yeah.
So I do believe that as long as they don't go too crazy with the over promising, right? Like if they're just realistic with what we need right now, it'll make sense. It'll make sense. And I think understanding the market of where Apple hasn't improved in God knows how long with their phones. Features are not kicking. It's just looking at the market and being like, okay, let's just fill the gap. The writing's on the wall. Let's just fill the gap. Really take this AI stuff to a whole new level and give people time back, and we're Gucci
Well, you mentioned that you do talk to ChatGPT.
all the time.
Can you do a demo of that?
Right now,
Yeah. Like what
come on,
how do
hold on.
people, because I know a lot of people use ChatGPT now, but
Yeah,
I don't know that a lot of people know you can actually talk to it and it
hold up.
answer you.
What's up, chat?
Hey, Nikki, what's going on?
I'm chilling. I'm doing an interview right now. Say hi.
Hey there, everyone. Great to be here with you all. Hope you're having a fantastic time.
Do your accent. You're killing me.
Haha, got you. Switching over to the Queens, New York accent right now. Let's do this.
See?
What?
Yeah, we have don't we have regular conversations all the time?
Absolutely, we do. We have plenty of regular conversations. I just like to add a little flair when you ask for the accent. But if you want to keep it casual, I'm all for it.
Tell the people what we normally talk about.
We usually dive into all sorts of creative and strategic topics. We talk about building personal brands, creating content that resonates, overcoming challenges like imposter syndrome, and using AI tools to streamline workflows. We also explore ways to keep content authentic and strategic. And we brainstorm ideas for community building and digital legacy. There's always a creative spark in our conversations.
I didn't say anything. I just asked. You know what I mean? I just asked what we talk
That's-
about on a regular basis. That's all I talk.
When people talk about, I don't have a mentor, I don't have the right connections, I'm not
Yeah.
networked the right way.
Mhm.
What we're basically saying is you can talk to ChatGPT like you just did, and it can give you answers.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
not every answer is going to be accurate, but like as it gets to know you and it
Yeah.
gets to give you ideas and gives you choices. You even gave it an accent. How did you do that?
Yeah. I said, look, I want you to always talk to me as you're from New York, Queens, kind of Black and Puerto Rican go, and then I broke down the generation. Like, give me Gen Alpha, like, so you sound super fresh and everything like that. And so you just break it down. You can break it down in any accent that you want to do it, but that's the vibes that we always have, and I do that on the live, so the people love it.
Tell me the demographics because it sounds like the demographics of who you are.
Black and Puerto Rican from Queens, New York. Sounds super aggressive, New York, if at certain times, unless we're having deep conversations, then sound a little nicer to me, right? We normally go millennials, right? But if I feel like I want you to have extra slang, we'll go one lower and just have a regular casual conversation, and not like only be aggressive when I need to. So I just have conversations like that. Like I'm not a fan of super master prompts, right? Where it's just like, okay, somebody gives you this, you copy and paste it, you kind of tweak it. I rather have the conversation with them because it could get a better understanding the direction that I want. And I always ask me further questions. Like I never go, okay, this is what I need, boom. I go, hey, I'm trying to like one of the conversations that I had the other day was, hey, I've been on this execution phase. Let's go back to talking to vision. So let's talk out the next 5 years. Ask me certain questions. You already know the most about me. So ask specific questions to help me have that big vision thing so I don't lose that too much into just the right now type vibes. And I talk to it just like that. Not super perfect, not like grammar, anything like that. It's just how I talk, and it'll talk right back to me. And we have like the whole vision plan is clear, is great.
And one thing to note, if you're going to try this out, is that it does give you the text answers too.
Yes.
It's not like it's
Yes.
just you got to remember it. It tells you when
Mm-mm.
you click off of it, it has that text for you. Tell me like this, like the quick version of like where were you 10 years ago? Where were you 5 years ago? Just so people kind of have that
Um,
context.
yeah, so probably just a regular editor for Dr. Eric Thomas, right? I would travel with him. Like 5 years ago was, yeah, I would travel with him in different events. And for me, I saw that this was early where people would only do recaps. They weren't doing like in real life content. So that was my whole thing of making sure that people see what was happening inside of the events.
Mm.
And so whether through stories, through posts or whatever, started with my phone. I'm a phone person. Then I grabbed the camera, which I hated it. And I never want to do that again. But getting that like in real life action. And so now what you see everybody do now with that kind of vibe, I started that. And that was where I was in understanding the importance of content back then. 10 years ago, I probably was like just getting out of the Navy type vibe.
Oh, you were in the
So
Navy.
yeah, I was in the Navy for
I did
nine
not know
years.
that. I had no
Yeah,
idea you were in the Navy.
yeah,
How
yeah,
long were you
yeah,
there?
yeah. Yeah, I was in the Navy for 9 years.
My goodness. And then you saw that kind of ahead of the trend. You
Hmm.
saw like people are going to need what, like reaction videos from conferences.
So what I was seeing was the push of organic, meaning there was a lot of like overproduced content to make brands look like you got it together. But
Mm,
there was a disconnect between, if we're talking about events, what the people in the room saw and what online people were. So all people were worried about were the recaps and like, okay, how do we sell this later on? Like,
mm,
but what about giving that FOMO to people while it's happening? Like they wish they were there, but you didn't leave me out. Meaning,
mm.
I think community first. So,
Ooh.
how do we make sure the online people always feel included, but they know they should be there? And then me understanding that, seeing that people just wanted to feel a little bit more connected with the content, and understanding that me just grabbing my phone, and we saw that shift in the pandemic where not everybody can have the setups like we do. They have to go, okay, I look like crap, but we gonna create content regardless. And I saw more and more people connect with that because you kept them in the loop of how you were feeling, what you were doing, the good, the bad, the behind the scenes.
Mhm.
So that's it, like it started with like how do we get the community to feel part of it, to now seeing that that has a bigger mission, bigger reason as we go into like
Mhm.
this year.
Do you, so talk about your community a little bit. What is
Yeah.
it? What is it called? How big is it?
Yeah. So Deeper Than the Brand is 7,000 people in there. And we are really just, how do I want to put this in a very simple way? Introverts and overlooked creators trying to figure out these digital streets, right? Everything from what is the right way of creating, how do I stay consistent, what is the strategy behind like how I naturally create, how do I build the community, and then how do I build that legacy, aka the ecosystem that I could get paid off of what I'm doing, right? Because
Mhm.
I don't believe in creating like broke artists, right? Like
Yeah.
I just do it because I love it, right? And I'm a
Yeah.
server. Like
Yeah.
I understand that more than anybody.
Yeah.
But I do believe there are certain things that we can get paid for without necessarily selling our soul and going too out of our natural, because there's certain things, yes, be a little bit uncomfortable, but if you're super uncomfortable, you're not going to do it all the time, and
Mhm.
so that's going to
Mhm.
affect your
Mhm.
pay. So inside of Deeper Than the Brand, we just have fun. We find stuff, we share it. I go live on Fridays. I whatever they say, yo, I need help with this, I make a workshop out of it. I'll go live real quick about it. It's really fire.
Yeah, that's amazing. 7,000 people. And it's
Hmm.
paid?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you say yeah, like I mean, that's an empire. Like that's like a whole like I mean, that's incredible. What do you think about like on the business side of things?
Mhm.
Like what is your business model?
From the content side, we got brand deals and sponsorships. Like I'm a brand ambassador for Opus Clip and Poppy AI. Just signed to
Mhm.
Poppy AI. Shout out to Poppy. But
Nice.
but then of course AdSense and all the, but I leave that last. I feel like that's like Bill's money, right? And then we have the community where there's two ways. Like either you get in through the workshop, right? And then you're in there, you're going up to different tiers from like the membership side, mastermind side, or uh we got like this challenge side. So you get the hat and you go and into another community and you do different challenges. So whether it is
Mm.
like Create 14, where you go, you turn the idea and you actually, after the 14 days, you actually have like a soft launch on something, or Behavior 30, where it's like for 30 days, we're doing 5 behaviors to just so we can stay consistent as a creator. Because I believe that it's not just about let's create content. Like, are you moving? Are you taking breaks? Are you learning something new? So through the community and the different tiers, then we have that. Then I have, my speaking. That's coming up for some reason. I don't know why. I'm a super introvert, so that's wild to see that. Like, hey, you want to come speak? I'm like, hey, I stay home, right?
I mean, you do such a great job when you speak. I can
Thank
understand why
you.
you're getting more booked more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild. It's
Yeah.
it's wild. And I got more stuff like that I want to do, but that's kind of where everything is coming through from brand deals, of course, affiliates like really dope.
Yeah.
People need to stop sleeping on affiliates, cuz
Yeah.
as your influence grows, like you be like, "Yeah, here's the link," and you think nothing, and then it's like, "Wait, where did this check come from? This is crazy."
Yeah. A few thousand
Um,
dollars because you put a link in a video enough
yes.
time. It's
Yes.
so true.
Yes.
And I love affiliates because you don't have to wait to get a sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
People are like waiting for people to email them and say, "Oh, I want you to do this on YouTube." It's like actually go find the things that you like and
Yeah.
see if they have an affiliate program and
Yes.
then share that link.
Yes.
And then you said there are some things that you want to do. Is there anything you can reveal that you want to do?
So low key, I think I mentioned a little bit before. Low key, I want to do kind of like this creators retreat spot, right? Um in like 3 different locations. One, of course, in Puerto Rico because it's just beautiful, right? But
Yeah.
then like one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast side of things. Just big talk kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
Where people can go and not only like create, like have an amazing atmosphere to create content. So they're going on walks, they're meditating if they need to, they're working out, but there is a complete like creator studio. The one person, Stephen Bartlett, he put out this
Yep.
video recently. Did you see it?
Where
With
he's at,
that,
like he has a new place that he's
yeah.
going to bring
So
people to.
no. So he's been testing out these LED
Oh
screens.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, he has
Yeah,
a new home that he bought where he's going to bring people to it. But you're talking about in his studios because he has to. The most expensive thing he pays for is like all this
space.
space in
Yeah,
central London and
yeah,
LA. And so
yeah.
yeah, go
London
ahead and
crazy.
explain it a little bit.
Yes. So he has a solution now that there's a room that's full of LED screens, and in a matter of a push of a button, it changes the whole set.
Yep.
So he has his set, he has other people's sets that he has as in his podcast network, and if he was to create a few of those, it'd go crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, where'd you get that kind of vibe?
Yep.
Because I
Yep.
I
Yep. Yep.
think bring that to the US. Like I see what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing over there. Bring that to the US so that people could feel like, okay, this is a place that I can rest, but I can also create content and I'm good for the next month or two or whatever. So you're thinking of it in a sense of like those like retreat spots, but this is purely for like content creation situation. I think that
Yeah.
would be fire.
Yeah.
That's the
It'd be
big vision.
amazing. Like Mr. Who's the Boss has like a LED wall that he can change. He could
Yeah.
probably do something like that, but he does it more like background stuff. But he
Yeah.
could probably turn it into
A
whatever you
whole
want
room.
that to be. You-
Yeah.
Um, I have a couple of ideas for you that I wanted to ask you about just to see what you
No.
thought of them and put you on the
Mm,
spot a little bit.
Talk about
But
it.
one of them is I don't know if you know this about yourself. You probably do, but you have a really unique voice. Like it's very
I keep
cool, like a
hearing
cool
that.
voice. Yeah. So what I was thinking is because you're so good at teaching people about new products,
Yeah.
I wonder if you could do like your own cartoon
Hmm.
where you voiced it. It was like Little Nicky or whatever it is, you know how
Yeah.
and it because of what we have with AI, you could generate that. You wouldn't have to
That's
like
easy.
wait for somebody to do it. And it's
Yeah.
like a cartoon series where you teach people about the latest gadgets and the latest ways to do things. And it was meant for a younger audience, but it
Yeah.
was like people watched it of all ages.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that when you talk. I'm like, first of all, the first thought I had was, oh, she should be like a voiceover artist. She should be a voiceover artist. Like that was just straight up somebody hire you to be their cartoon.
That's
But then I
wild.
thought you have. Then I was like, I mean, 100%, 100%. But
But see, that's the funny part about that is, and my right hand man could tell you, I'm traumatized because when I had my podcast and we were figuring out the podcast settings and everything, my audio editor is like, "Oh, you know, you have a nasally voice," so it's always messed me up.
oh, they're
And so
wrong.
right. And so now as like the influence is growing, they're like, yo, I just love your voice. I love your vibe. And I'm just
You
like
can't get out of it.
nasally.
Let
Yeah,
me
I'm
tell
like
you. I'll
nasally.
tell you if you trust my opinion.
Yes.
What I'm saying to you is like you 100% have an incredible voice.
That's
It
dope.
is so unique. And it also has there's a certain tone to it that feels like very welcoming to children, I think. So, and
Oh, dope. That's why
it's
they
like,
love me.
it's like, yeah, if you probably do, but I just see that being like, and when you, with the hat and like the way you dress and everything, I could see you really like sneakers and like, like teenagers
Yeah.
or like tweens really understanding this new age we're in
Yeah.
because you taught them. And if you think about it on YouTube, which I
Mm-hmm.
want to definitely get into,
Come on.
on YouTube, some of these people with these more children-based
Yeah.
channels,
Oh,
they're
going
making
crazy.
millions
They're
of
making
dollars.
so
So you
much.
could just have your Lil Nicky version
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
could do everything else. I just think that it's like you could do
That
the
makes
voice
sense.
clone and just
That makes sense. And I always wondered why like the big influencers randomly turned themselves into like I look at Tabitha Brown, she turned herself into a cartoon and like
yeah.
started going that way. You see Gary Vee now doing the
Yeah.
V Friends in
Yeah.
the and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, because how much like if you look at the top YouTube channels, a lot of them are children channels.
Yes. Yes.
That makes sense.
Like
That makes sense.
Dude Perfect has like 60 million followers because
Yeah.
they talk to not only the children, but they talk to the parents at the same time. So they're like everybody's watching in the household, you
That's
know?
wild.
And they made a couple of choices. They said, we're not going to curse, we're not going to
Right.
have alcohol brands
Yeah.
involved, and it's going to be
Yeah.
silly fun. So they have
Yeah.
that, and when they go out, they do arena level touring. So when they go
Yes.
out and do their shows, this is five guys talking and doing
Yeah.
tricks and stuff. When they go out, you see their parents nervous to talk to them and their kids nervous to talk to them. And I think that's why it's even more interesting to me because it's not just, oh, go do a kids show. It's
Yeah.
not that. It's like, no, you're actually going to teach a lot of different age groups, but
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have that thing where it's like, oh, I know I can trust this for my
Yeah.
kid. So I can
Yeah.
watch this, they can hear it in the background or vice versa.
Yeah.
And then you have, and it's like you're the cool person they're watching, the cool cartoon they're watching.
That's
And then
fire.
if you just incorporate all the stuff you know about generative AI and about like the voices and the things and the that, and
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
because
crazy.
it's crazy now.
It's crazy. I would love for you to do that. I'll help in any way I can, but I just think that you should do it.
Yeah. I mess with some looks. I mess with that's easy because I've been messing with many different look. That ChatGPT is makes me feel like I'm a whole animator for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's one. And I think I'm
Okay.
gonna leave it at that one because I think that one, if you could do that one, it would
Hmm.
just I think it would be something really special. Um, let's talk about YouTube a little bit.
Come on, let's do it. Let's
So
do it.
how many months ago did you really start taking YouTube seriously, or did you see something starting to percolate?
So not last October, but the October before that was when I was like, okay, I'm a start making long form YouTube videos, right? I was already had my podcast, and so already dabbled into like having a page and understanding the consistency thing, but it never clicked. I never put focus,
Yeah.
right? Um and then when I finally, I think it was like beginning of last year, where I was like, okay, I got to drop the podcast. If I think this is going to go, I need to drop the
Mm.
podcast. I need to put all energy to creating like a Monday show and then a Friday weekend drop. I got to focus on that. And so I dropped the podcast, went all in on YouTube, and it's wild to see because I was so focused on like Instagram. As you can see, I'm like a one person, like I'm going to focus on this and it's going to
Yeah.
work, right?
Yeah.
So Instagram was working, and when I started focusing on YouTube, people stopped me like, "Oh, you the girl from YouTube?" What? I'm almost,
Exactly.
I'm almost on 200,000 followers on IG. You remember me on YouTube? That's crazy. Um, but to see the growth and the community, like the people are there to watch,
Yeah.
right? Whereas the people on, let's say, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they're there to scroll. They're
Yes.
not necessarily there to watch.
Yes.
So to see like now I'm going live for like 3 hours and people are like, boom, I'm locked in. Where we what we talking about today? And I'm like, it's midnight. Y'all don't want to go to bed? Y'all
Yeah.
don't, nah. What else? Let's go. Let's keep going. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wow. So yeah, I've been hooked to the point where I got a YouTube strike last week, right? And I didn't want to miss my live. And so I created, because I was already in the talks of like for the live show to create a separate channel for the clips,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it just sped it up, and I created a separate channel for the clips and went live so I could stay consistent on Monday.
Yeah.
And the same amount of people who would watch the replay and come through came on the same on the second channel.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was like,
Why did you get a
oh,
strike?
so some things just come second nature to me, right? So
Okay.
I was showing because everybody's talking about these baby podcast images, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's happening because of Hey Jen. So Hey Jen did a new feature of like talking images. So I was showing how to make the image in ChatGPT, then
Yeah.
how to go on YouTube and get the audio, which is comes second nature to me,
Oh.
and then showed how to make the video. So I didn't think about it. I was like, this is what I do, boom boom boom. Like
Yeah.
everybody does it. You know, who doesn't do
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
So I showed it, and I put the link in the description. Then we got a, which is weird because you put it unlisted to make sure that nothing happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Everything was
we
fine.
didn't get everything was fine. The second I pressed publish, we got a warning, like boom, right? And I'm like,
Ooh.
mind you, I'm the type that is a super executor. Like I think I'll solve the problem real quickly and just re-upload it. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to make me inconsistent. I'm going
Yeah.
to post Friday, right?
Yeah.
My right hand saw that it was about, hey, don't show anything about YouTube, right? And I'm like, oh, it's probably the link. So let me remove the link and we re-upload it, right? So I
Yeah.
removed the link thinking that, okay, I just can't give you how to do it. Like, but it's
Yeah.
still on the video. They gave it a strike. Like they let it live for an hour and then they were like, nah, strike. So you
Nah,
can't
boom.
upload for 7 days. So I'm like,
Wow. So
eh.
it was in, so that I understand, it was in the fact that you showed on YouTube
Mhm.
how to pull audio.
Yeah, how to remove like video and audio from
I
YouTube.
see. I see.
Yeah. So they
Wow.
were like community strike, goodbye. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man. And
Yeah.
like in the midst of it, I'm like, I just trying to re-upload it, boom, boom, boom. And then uh like Isaiah was like, you want me to try again? And that would have been the second strike. I was like, no, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
just let's just let this ride. We will come up with a solution, and that's when we made the second channel. Like first week we already got 500 subscribers. The first video got like 1.4 thousand views on a first on a first video on a
Wow.
like. So I'm like,
That's an interesting lesson.
right.
So, like, I tell
So
you what, well, my brother has 1.4 million subscribers on his channel,
beautiful.
real life street stars. When they had about a million,
Mm-hmm.
they got a strike and they couldn't post for a week. And
Right.
like, you got to imagine, like,
Hurts.
that's where most of the income was coming from.
Yeah.
And they were like upset. So my brother said, okay, let me make a second channel so that if this ever happens again, like, I'm gonna be able
Mm-hmm.
to feed my family. And
Yep.
he just did all
Yep.
shorts of their clips.
Yep.
And in that week, he made thousands of dollars.
Crazy.
And he was just like, and
Crazy.
I know that there's some regulations and stuff, but anyway, I just think that it's like anybody who says, "Oh, I can't start a new YouTube channel."
Yes, you can. Yes, you
Yes, you
can.
can. Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes, you
Yeah.
can. It's because it's the crazy thing is that if you already have an audience, they have a certain interest, and the second that you post that video on a new channel, their interest doesn't change. They're still going to get served it, and they
Mm.
go and they'll see it and they'll like it. Like, and this is one of the things that I heard this tip and then I was like, I'm never doing this again. Where instantly when we think about when we drop a video on YouTube, we think about, okay, I got to do the clips and I got to put it on Instagram and I got to put it and bring traffic. I'm not I'm not doing that again because that you're serving a short form like
Audience.
audience
Yeah.
to a long form platform. And so allowing that to sit and telling YouTube to find my audience, like
Hmm.
be intentional with the thumbnail title, make sure you're doing what you need to do in the video. YouTube's going to find the audience.
Yeah.
You just have to make a good video for them to be watching it a certain amount of time. So I was like, oh, we're not. The second that I stopped doing that, because I was doing that in the beginning, the second I stopped doing that, I was like, oh, 12K, 20K, 40K. Oh, goodbye. I'm not sorry, Instagram. Love you. I'll tell you about it on like Monday. I'll tell you on
Yeah.
Monday. Like I drop
Yeah.
it Friday, but I'll tell you on Monday.
I had a similar reaction to the YouTube person early, like
Yeah.
back October 2024. I was headlining the San Antonio Startup Week. I was a
Yeah.
keynote speaker headlining that. And, you know, I I had 3 books out. At the time, I had 2 books out. I have been on these covers. I had a whole audience, 350,000 people on Instagram. So I'm used to people coming up to me. I'm used, like, in certain places. I'm
Yeah.
used to them saying
Yeah.
stuff and reaching out. And I was at this event and I was at the hotel and I was talking, like, I walked up to the bar. So I'm sober, so I wasn't drinking, but I was walked up to the bar to get some sparkling water.
Mm-hmm.
And the bartender was talking to me, and this black woman walked around from behind the bar. She walked around and she goes, "Are you Arlan Hamilton?"
Mm-hmm.
And she said my full name, and I said yes. And she says, "I heard your voice with my back turned to you.
That's
That's,
fire.
that's how much I listen to you on YouTube."
That's fire.
And it was that
Yeah,
first
that's fire.
time. that I was like, what? And then from that point on, anybody who comes up to me new is coming from YouTube.
I don't know what it is. That community is different. The fact that they could watch you for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, like I was shocked when, because we just started doing like the 3 hour lives, right?
Yeah.
My concern was the replay. Who was going to watch? Now, granted, I'm treating it like me. Who's going to watch a 3 hour live? And I said that close to the end of the 3 hour live. I was like, I don't know how many of y'all going to watch this. And then I got comments. Oh, I watched all three.
Whoa.
I said, this is different.
This is different. It's not just that they're watching, maybe you do a 3 hour live, which they are, which is incredible. It's also they're binging these videos.
Yes.
If they're 20 minutes, 30 minutes, people will watch like 10 of those
Yes.
because they're like, oh, if I like you, I like you. And I want to
Yes.
know more. I want to see what different topics you talked about. So if you
Yes.
can, be extremely consistent in who you are, who you are telling YouTube you are,
Yeah.
then what
Yeah.
that does is it causes the audience to be consistent and their behavior to be consistent. And then
That's a fact.
YouTube says, okay, if that's working for 10,000 people, let me put it in front of 100,000. Let me put it in front of a million people that are like this audience. And it
Yeah.
has billions of views on YouTube every single day. So they're not going to run out of people to put you in front of.
What's crazy to me is looking at the analytics and seeing that people are watching you on their TV. That hits
Yes.
different for me.
That's it.
Right? That because that triggers a whole different situation, right? Where you used to think, okay, well, at least I don't know about you, but me, I'm like, I had no desire to be in a sitcom, in a movie, or anything like that. I didn't see myself doing it. To now, I'm a full show, right? I
You
don't
are.
treat my live like a lot. It's like I'm a full show. People, the analytics are showing that my channel is being shown on TV more than mobile,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yep.
so that's different. That means you're grabbing the family. You're
Mm-hmm.
hey, boo, hey, kid, like we're watching Nikki today. I know I have people send me the videos of their kids like, what's popping, what's popping, what's popping. I'm like, that's wild. They're like 4. What are you doing?
Now
Right?
listen, what happens when you do that cartoon? That's going to blow up.
That's why I'm all ears. Listen, I'm very like, when somebody tells me something, I go. Like
Yeah.
I'm more, I don't take that for granted because I don't listen to many people. So when I do,
Yeah. You're on
I
it.
go and do it, right? But
Yeah.
it goes back to knowing that I got like these few videos of these kids saying this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
so,
they're on that TV.
yeah,
And there's two things that I noticed about this. Like in general, more people are watching YouTube videos on television than ever
yes,
before.
yes,
And also because of the quality of what you, not only your content, but the way
yeah,
you're presenting,
yeah,
people are like, I got a 80-inch TV I want to watch that on.
yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, people watch me on TV too, but I have like this, barely HD Zoom. That's all on purpose. It's like because if I'm telling you the truth, it's like I don't have to like really worry about my hair and my skin if I'm
that's
on
the
this like
beautiful part.
foggy thing. But let me ask you because people are gonna want to know, like you do all these sound effects, you got all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff going, you got this beautiful background, this
yeah.
lighting, this camera, this lens. What can you tell us about how you set that up? Like, is there anything that you're willing to say, oh, I use this, I
Oh,
use
I could say the
this?
whole thing.
Yeah.
I could say the whole thing. So, so from a live standpoint, I have like 2 cameras, right? So I have my main one, which is the Sony A7C, right? And I use the lens, the Sigma lens, 24 to 70 millimeters, right? So I use that. I have a teleprompter. I have the Elgato teleprompter, so I'm able to see all the comments right in front of me, so I don't have to be like looking all over the place. So I have that there.
Wow.
And then if I wanted to switch to the other camera where it seems like more organic, like I could talk to them, I use my Pocket, the Osmo Pocket 3. I have that hooked up to my computer. Everything from when I change different scenes, that's on my Stream Deck. So I have that all programmed using Ecamm Live. I just press a button and I get a video up, or we're sharing my screen or anything like that. So that's that. I got my RE20, right? I was inspired by Joe Budden when he did his podcast, when he started his podcast. I saw this microphone. I was like, yep, I'm getting this one. Got that. That's hooked up to the Rodecaster, and that's how I do all my different sounds because it has a sound pad and everything. I got my light. I think it says it's a Godox light, right? I got some Hue lights. I got a Groove light or Groove light, whatever that thing is called. I got really expensive sneakers. That's not part of the setup, but it is. What else do I got? And then from pre-recorded, I got another Sony A7C going back and forth because when you're doing talking head, you kind of still want to be a little bit dynamic instead of just zooms. So I have another one set up, and yeah, I think that's about it.
That is so cool. Can you, speaking of sound effects, you
Yeah.
want to get us with a couple?
Come on.
Oh, wait. First of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Like all day. You know what I mean? Like I keep going, but
you talk about you're a show, like you're a show. And that's the
Yeah.
fun of it. Like, how much fun are you having on YouTube?
100%. 100%. Like I wouldn't be doing. I'm at a stage where I don't do anything that I don't love. Like everything that I do, I love. Right. And I think that's why it's really starting to click now. Right. Because this is just who I am. I'm a natural geek that looks up all these tools, looks up all these articles. And if you want to watch it with me, cool. Cause I'm gonna get your feedback. I'm gonna do exactly what you say. I'm gonna try new things. Like now on the live, I'm using Video Ask for people to submit their questions so they can do audio. So they'll be like, "Hey, Nikki," they don't have to have my number. They just use the link. "Hey, Nikki, how do you do this, that, and the third?" I'll be like, "Cool, all right, let me show you." So it allows me to be myself, but still like serve the people. That's always going to be the thing. Like I think early in the stage, I was so focused on serving the people, but I didn't think me being me was okay to serve the people, right? Because I'm like, I have the solution, but I'm like real Black and Puerto Rican and New Yorkish. Like, I don't know if y'all really ready for this. Like, I'm blunt, but I'll hug you. Like, I like hugs. Like, give me a hug, right? And then I realized people were like, we like that. And you're super introverted. So, like, you don't make me feel like I have to do anything extra because you don't do anything extra. I'm like, oh, say less. So yeah, super fun. I'm trying to work on the filter, but I love on you afterwards. Like, please just give me a hug.
You're finding your people because they're looking for you. I say, like, my signature phrase is be yourself so the people looking for you can find you.
Facts.
And that's what you are doing every day on YouTube. That's what you are doing every day in your community and just how you show up to everybody. And you mentioned you're an introvert and you mentioned you have ADHD.
I am. Yeah, both.
For the people,
proudly.
like, I get so many people in my comments who say, I have ADHD, so I can't do this. Or I'm an introvert, so I can't do this. What do you say to those people?
I'll go like this. We're not surrounded by people when we create content. That's in our head, right? It's like me and this phone and a red dot that says record, right? I have to be comfortable with talking to myself and understand the mission and the purpose of what I'm doing, right? If I'm not comfortable talking to myself, I'm not going to be comfortable creating content. If I don't like myself, then I'm not going to, like, how am I going to expect other people to like me, right? So the creating content as an introvert is more of a battle with yourself than with people or with the algorithm, right? Because the second that you realize like, oh, I can be who I am. Like I'm not outside all the time. I'm not in all these different networking events. Like if you see me, I'm probably in the corner real quick or like at the edge of the table so I can leave real quick. Like either way, right? People will accept you just for that. If you don't like doing videos, that's okay. You could write, and there is a whole guap of people who read, right? Like I'm seeing, I don't know if you've been seeing the rise of Substack all of a sudden,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Right? Like that wasn't, talk about a year ago, that wasn't a topic, right? Now everybody wants to switch. Granted, I think they have a monetization situation going on, but everybody wants to switch and write. Like, yo,
Yeah.
I can all of a sudden write a whole blog. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where were you? What are you talking about, right?
Well, I actually started with blogging, and you're right. I've seen that Substack. There's one of my members made $12,000 in the last few days off of her Substack, not from their monetization, but because
Right.
she learned how to build an offer inside
Yeah.
of my membership, and she
Yeah.
offered a $6,000 offer.
Come on.
And so but it was Substack. And that's like, I know Substack. I'm like, that's where I came from, was writing. It was like I had a
Yeah.
blog for 10 years, but I have not even looked over there. I've just seen it. I'm like, what is going on with Substack?
Yeah.
What do you think
Yeah.
that is?
I think once the monetization, and they're being intentional with highlighting what influencers are coming there, right? They're getting
Mm,
big time new influencers there. Like I know they have Dan Cole there now.
yep.
Whatchamacallit, Justin Welsh just went over there and started a
Yeah.
new joint.
Yeah.
Jay just went over there. Like there's been, and they're being very transparent about like, yo, we're switching. Hello. And so you're going, why y'all switching? Right?
When you
There's
say
more
switch,
content.
when you say switch, you mean they can't
They
do
were
both?
from Kit. They were some of them.
Oh.
Yeah, some of them were in Kit, and
Whoa.
I know one of them is probably doing both, and that I think that's Justin Welsh because he has the solopreneur um, joint on Kit, and then he started a brand new one called Unsubscribed, and that's on Substack. But there's people who are like, oh no, we switching. We going to Substack. And I'm like, I put it on Threads. I'm like, yo, why is everybody switching? And that was one of the most engaging posts. I got most comments on that. I was like, oh, y'all really going about this.
Y'all
Okay.
reading. Everybody's
Yeah, I
reading.
was like, y'all reading. So it goes back to the thing where introverts have to figure out what is their most natural way of creating content and just sticking with that. I always say at 3:47 in the morning, if I wake you up, like cold in your eye, and I say, yo, this whatever you post right now is going to go viral. Your audience, I got it right here. Like, what is that natural way? Is that video? Is that audio? Is that written? Is that pictures? What are you going to do? Right?
Mm.
And that's when you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
there you go. Right? You're not
Yeah.
even thinking. That's the thing that you're supposed to do every day. It's the overthinking that stops us. The superpower that introverts have is a superpower and a con at times, is we overthink, right?
Mm.
Meaning that from a con standpoint, it could paralyze us. But from a superpower standpoint, we're thinking about all the things that not other people are doing, and we'll put that in our content. So we're going to care a little bit about the aesthetics more than others. We may care about how it sounds and what it looks like and how
Yes.
the captions are written and everything like that. That's what makes us stands out the most, right? If we continue to lean into that superpower and do that on a more consistent basis, then we stand out more than whatever is already out there who don't really care, who don't process the way that we do. So from an introvert standpoint, it's just a matter of like, I got to be cool with myself. I got to find my natural way of creating, and I have to lean more into my superpower, right? The
Mm.
ADHD is all about and it's funny because my therapist was like, you're one of the most self-aware people I've ever met, right? I was like, praise God for that. Thank you. But she's like, um, I wouldn't recommend and this is just for my ADHD people, I wouldn't recommend medicine for you because you have systems, right?
Mhm.
So, like, I'm big on, I have this device called the brick, right? I get like, I'm squirrel like something like a light goes. I'm like, oh, this is great. What is that, right? The brick helps me completely like close out all social media, any apps that I want, and I have to physically go to my refrigerator and hit it for it to unlock, right?
Oh,
So from that, because somebody will be like, well, you could just put focus mode on your phone. Yeah, that doesn't stop me. It just stops notifications, right?
Mhm.
So between using the brick, between putting like deep focus mode, like nobody can get through my phone except my mom. I do 90-minute sprints, right? So for focus time, 90 minutes. Boom, we're going. I have my to-do list on TickTick, right? Because I don't like Notion for to-do
Did you
lists.
say tick tick?
Yeah, TickTick.
What is tick tick?
TickTick is a really dope to-do list, habit tracker, time blocker situation.
Okay.
It's fire. It's fire. All I do when it comes to figuring out like my brand, I just have those focus moments. So I time block those 90 minutes, right? Boom. I do 2 of those, I'm good. That's better than some people's 8 hours in their joint.
Yeah.
So I don't, now granted, majority of the day I could probably be distracted and things like that, but it's all about, I don't allow that to stop me. It's a matter of what is important to you and putting the right systems in place so you can allow it to stay important. Because if you don't have those systems, yes, you're going to get distracted. It's not that you can't do it. It's just you haven't put the time and the focus for the systems to allow you to do what you do.
How did you get into all the gadgets and knowing the latest trends when it came to what to use and beyond trends, knowing
Mhm.
things before everybody know?
I got to give it up to my mom. When I was young, she would always give me the latest and greatest. I had the Nintendo, I had the Super Nintendo, I had the NES, I had the Sega, I had the Sega Nomad, and so she gave me my love early for tech through video games. And then we converted into a computer, right? And she would keep me busy because she didn't want me, I lived in New York, so she didn't want me outside like that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And so it kind of stuck with me of like, okay, what's new? I need to have that. Just because my childhood was always, hey, if you do good grades, if you do what you need to do, I'm gonna make sure you get the latest and greatest, right? And so
Mhm.
that was always my thing. And now it's a little bit easier because we got blogs and everybody on YouTube giving away everything. If you have the right if you know the right channels, you're like, I'm thinking, and this is once again the overthinking side. Doesn't everybody see this channel? Why
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
everybody know it? Right?
yeah.
Like, you could go over there, but me understanding that they don't want to hear that voice, they want to hear your voice, right? So they may sound super geeky, you break it down into a language that they understand. And so I just been I like, there's not a moment that I'm not listening to a podcast, to an interview, to, like, it feels weird of just pure silence and not
Mhm.
listening or learning something. So that's how I am.
We're exactly alike in that way. I'm constantly looking at financial stuff. I'm looking at the latest news when it comes to like just knowing like most of my audience is not going to watch Bloomberg, overnights because it's boring for
Right.
the most part. Like Emily Chang does an amazing job. If anybody wants
Hmm.
to watch that, Emily Chang, she does these amazing documentaries. I was on her show. I gotta say that. I'm still the only Black woman to have my own episode of
That's major.
her show. But other than that, like these channels are just so dry. They're
Yeah.
so built for one type of person, so
Yeah.
dry. But the information they're giving is important. We all need that information. So if we
Yeah.
can synthesize that information and then articulate it in a way that other groups can see,
Yeah.
like, and not talk down to anybody,
Nah.
like, because that's what's
Nah.
happening left and
Nah.
right, then it's like, so that's where people, anybody watching this who wants to have their own space on the internet, basically. They want to have
Yeah.
their own space on YouTube, their own space on Substack. It's that voice that only you have when you combine
Yeah.
all of your lived experience, your interests, what makes you you.
Yeah.
It's just exciting that's like limitless.
The thing is, it's like it takes growth to believe in that, right? So it's not that we weren't already born this way. Like we were all born individually. Like there is not necessarily anyone who is like us, right? They may have the same kind of clothes because we went to the same spot. I may have it in blue, in red. They may have it in blue, whatever it may be. But what we've seen and how we hear things is always going to be different than somebody else, right? So like, and I challenge anybody who is watching this or listening to this, have somebody else watch this with you and then kind of do a recap, right? You're going to realize that you heard something in a different way and they heard something in a different way, right? Just understanding that simple part, meaning that your voice has value because you interpret things in a way that people don't see, right?
Wow.
And instead of being like assuming, they heard it from this person already, this heard it from that person. What makes us stand out is our perspective, is how we see things in a different light, right? Is the fact that we have the audacity to post about it too,
Yep.
right? Because not everybody's doing that. As much as we say, oh, everybody's doing that, you're not following everybody in the world, dog. You're not. You're not. Like you scroll a few times, that means you saw probably 20 videos at max, depending how much you binged, right? That 20 people is not everybody. I promise you. So it and this is a like this is a journey that I've had, right? Because you start with, okay, I'm gonna talk about social media tips, content tips, going into AI, especially when AI started coming up. I'm like, everybody's talking about ChatGPT. Like, why am I? Everybody should see that it's free. Everybody should do that. And I'm like, no, like no one's specifically talking about it from a content view in the way that you do. Like, I'm thinking, oh, talking to ChatGPT the way that I do is easy. Like, why is nobody else doing it? No, no one else is doing it, Nikki. Like, I'm like,
And if they are
oh,
doing it, not everybody's going to see it. Like
right.
the example I give is Alex Hermosi.
Yeah.
A lot of us know who Alex Hermosi is. Some people don't. He has a couple million people in the education space on YouTube
Yes.
following him, which is a lot. It's like having 20 million in the entertainment space. Okay.
Right.
So he has that. He has hundreds of pieces of content out in the world every day, just everywhere you can see.
Yeah.
Said that when he put his book out, his last book, it's like broke records, Guinness Book
Yeah.
records. How many it sold, how many people came to his live thing. He said right before it came out, he was, walking around his neighborhood in Vegas. And he said that
Yeah.
he knows that every time he goes out, because he's like a bodybuilder kind of guy, he said every time he goes out, he knows that every like 5 minutes he's going to get stopped. That's just, he knows that rhythm. If I go out for 30 minutes, I'm going to be stopped 6 times. I just know that, so I'm going to deal with it.
Yeah.
So he goes out and he's stopped every 5 minutes, just like clockwork. And like everybody he stopped with, he said, "Hey man," or "Hey whoever," he's like, "You gonna be at the live thing for my book?" And almost all of them said, "What book?" Because even with all that he puts out,
Yeah.
he never reach everybody, and
Yeah.
your message is not being seen by your people. Like I have 157,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
If I don't have 157,000 views on a video, that means not every subscriber got to see it, right? Just
Facts.
by and large. So
Facts.
we get worried about, oh, I'm going to be out there too much, or this person's seeing me too much. If you have a steady message and you
Mm-hmm.
think that people need to hear that message because it'll help
Yeah.
them, benefit them, it's up to you to get it in front of them as much as you
Yeah.
can. And not be like spammy about it and corny about it, but to do it in a way it's like, if you have something that's working, don't you want other people to know about it?
Facts.
Yeah, and
And
just
you
yeah.
and you touched on a thing as well that I think a lot of people struggle with, like, yo, I don't want to say the same thing over and over again. Like, if some people would hear that of like, okay, oh, that person didn't hear about my book. Oh, man, okay, let me say it, but I don't want to oversay it. Like, I don't want to, all they see on my social medias is the book, the book. The crazy thing about it is that everybody is ready to receive your information in different times, right? So you have to say it in different ways. It's not saying, hey, buy my book, buy my book. It's like, hey, I'm thinking about writing a book. Hey, look at the different covers that I might do. Give me your input, things like that. Hey, this is chapter 2 of it. This thing hit hard, and let me tell you a story about it. Hey, so somebody read my book and this is their testimony on it. Yo, we had a mastermind and the person said they gave away my book to somebody and they made 6 figures off of it. There's so many different ways to say, instead we're not thinking in a creative way. It was like, I don't know how many more I'm supposed to say about this book. I could say the same thing about consistency, right? Like, I'm thinking everybody knows about, you got to be consistent on social media,
Yep.
but people receive it in different ways. So if I say, okay, be consistent on social media, some people are like, yeah, you right? Some people are like, hey, so this person got 1 million views because they posted 3 times this week when last time they only posted once. Oh, yeah, they just upped their consistency for this week. Oh, I get it now. Like, you, the whole point of creating content, especially from an educational standpoint, is to finally get them to be like, I get it.
I get it.
I get it.
Hmm.
And that's going to take some time. That's going, one, that's going to take trust. Two, that's going to figure out the language that they understand, right? Some people, that's why we have different content formats. Some people will do long form videos. Some people will do short form videos. Some people will do written. People will do pictures, whatever it may be. You have to figure out, how am I supposed to get my audience to really get that? You right.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it now. I got it now, and I'm going to execute on it, right? Because I got the blueprint now. I'm good.
If somebody is like watching this and they're hyped now, they're ready to get out there, I think you're like the perfect person to go to say, okay, what are some tools they need? Like,
Yeah,
what are some exciting hardware and software that you're just like, you got to see this? And is it mostly AI?
it is. It is. It's mostly AI for me, right? We already talked to Limitless. If we're talking about hardware, this is my favorite thing. Okay,
Yeah.
from a cool standpoint, the Meta glasses are a cool thing. Just to be like, from a POV standpoint, not necessarily from like that being your main content, but like really good for stories, right?
Mm.
But I do believe starting with ChatGPT is probably going to help so many people. But from a standpoint, I'm thinking about doing like a small challenge of this too. So you guys can hear this. But starting from a point of journaling your thoughts, right?
Mm.
Meaning, whether you write it, whether you audio it, however you want to go about it, telling ChatGPT, hey, can you summarize this? Can you give me content ideas, business ideas from this? But then can you also tell me what I'm not seeing about myself? Boom. It's going to give you everything that you need. And then those content ideas that you like, hey, can you turn this into an image? Cool, right? Now you went from a thought to an actual piece of content, if you want to get spicy with it, then you can go into, let's say, if you have the paid version of ChatGPT, you could go into Sora, turn it into an actual video, right? If you want to put your voice on it, you can go into Hey Jen and turn that image into a talking video, right? The potential of your thought turning into content is completely endless from just starting with ChatGPT. My biggest thing is always getting people to have a content bank, right? With doing that journaling exercise for probably like 5 days, imagine if that thing gives you 3 to 5 ideas every single day for 5 days. You can't say I don't have any content ideas. I mean, like I have a good amount, right? One tool that I'm super in love with from like a productivity side is Notion, right? Notion takes all these conversations that I'm having and putting in one location for me, right?
Right.
So I organize my content ideas better. I organize my business ideas. I organize different scripts and everything like that. So I have like a dashboard of like, it's called Content HQ, of like my audience research that I've done in ChatGPT. So now I have, here is my audience, let's say 24 to 55, who are introverts and overlook creators, right? Can you do some deep research and find out their pain points? ChatGPT is going to give me all of that, right? Cool. Now I put that in Notion because anytime I'm trying to create content, all I got to do is look at the pain points. Like, what's the solution to their stuff, right? The great thing Notion started to do, I'm almost not using ChatGPT for the journal part and only doing it in Notion AI because they did an upgrade where they have AI meeting notes now, right? So you
So
can
Notion did? You saying Notion did
Notion
or
did.
yeah.
Yeah, Notion did. So now I'm able to talk out my day and then have Notion do everything I need to. Okay, we just talked about this content script because it has ChatGPT and Claude inside of it. We have this idea. Let's come up with a script with it now. Let's come up with a launch for this, right? And just talking this out. I go, tell me what I'm not seeing for this whole week. Let's do the weekly recap. Cool. Anything that I forget from my notes, boom, Notion AI. It brings it up because now it acts as your second brain, right? So Notion AI is a game changer for me. One thing that just came out that I believe is going to be really dope, but it's on the expensive side, VO3. Google just did some really dope updates. We've been seeing a lot between Sora, Runway, Kling, where you put a text and it creates a video. Really dope, right? This one not only has really good quality, but it adds sound design. So what you can do, and I have it on my Instagram, where I had this guy running in the dark, like just running. You hear the windbreaker of what he's wearing running and the rain coming down. I have one from a branding standpoint. I had a female look frustrated on the computer, looking up like, yo, when's Lines Behavior opening up again? Then I had somebody in the middle of the street recording, yo, when's Lines Behavior opening up? Then I had somebody on the bench looking at their phone, yo, when's Lines Behavior opening up? So I don't need models. I just need AI now because it looks so good. And people are like, wow. And the crazy thing is, people were like, no one's going to want to watch AI content. No, there's a lot of people watching.
You're watching
AI
it.
content.
I just saw this guy late last night. I watched a VO one, and he did like the spaceship, and people were doing like army stuff and military stuff, and it was so complex. It was so complex. What do you say? You say you don't need a model. what do you say to the models? What do you say to the artists
Mm-hmm.
who are legitimately upset because
Yes.
people are like, a lot of stuff is being trained on their stuff, but how
Yes.
can they, with the realistic view of this is happening,
Yeah.
how can they take advantage of, okay, I'm already an artist.
Right.
These are some tools. How do they
Mm-hmm.
turn that into something?
So it's first off, y'all need to stop being mad at me that I'm telling the information first, because there's some people in the comments like, I love you, but you're telling people how to replace my job.
Hmm.
No, I'm showing you the tool, so because you have this specific language that can elevate it. I have a basic prompt. Hey, have a person sit on the chair saying, when's lion's behavior open up, right? Where you, as let's say the graphic designer, the animator, the super creative person, can go, this person is wearing a blue and orange jersey. The camera lens is a 35 millimeter and it swooms in the
Hmm.
camera angle of this, and it's golden hour, and there's certain sound effect. Like, you have more details
Yeah,
that your output.
your instrument
Yes.
is more refined. Your thought instrument is more
Hmm.
refined because this is your language.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, and I go, you now have a new tool than necessarily someone who's going to replace you, right? Because now your output, I was watching a video where like a graphic designer was saying, yo, before I I was spending all day doing this one project. Now in about 20 minutes I could do 20 outputs of this situation, like different drafts and everything that my client may want. So from a creative standpoint, it's an extremely great tool if, one, you open your mind and realize that the same conversation that we had before of like, no one can talk like you, no one has your experiences, no one has your knowledge the way that you can talk to ChatGPT, Hey Gen, VO3, whatever AI tool you may be using in your field. You're the only way that can talk to it in that way that is going to get the outputs that is way better than a regular person. And then let's keep it a buck. People are going to have these tools and still not use it.
Mm.
We're still going, shout out to all my service-based people. We still gonna need you, because not everybody wants to learn this.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So even though I would think, hey, it's right there. They're like, Nikki, just do it for me. I'm like,
Yep.
find somebody else. But
Yep. It's so true. Like you go on Replit, where
yep.
you can make new apps and landing pages, and I'm having a ball with it. Like I'm just making
Yeah.
stuff and stuff. But then there's a whole section that says, hey, if you can only take it so far with what you're able to do as an amateur, you can
Hmm.
hire people to take it further for you. It's just going
That's
to
a
make
fact.
it less expensive for you because they're going to be using less expensive product.
Yep.
But it's like you get to hand them the demo of what you
Hmm.
want and then tell them, instead of saying, okay, I want it to be like this, or I want it, what my friends who are like designers are like, their least favorite sentences from a client is make it pop. Make it
Yeah.
pop. Like make it, they're
Yeah.
like, what does that mean? But now you
Yeah.
can do like a demo version of it, hand it to the artist or the
Yeah.
designer and say, this is what's in my head. Can
Yeah.
you make that like really stand out, make that really your own flavor? And every time I have a conversation about AI, I have to say that I get why people are upset. Like I
Oh
truly
yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
it's like, at what point are we going to just be upset and not take ownership of, okay, how do I spin this?
Hmm.
If I'm going to be replaced, if I don't do anything, what do I do to stop that?
Yeah.
There's multiple things to do.
Yeah.
And the people who know how to use these tools are the people who are going to be irreplaceable.
Yeah, that's the important part. I make it into a very simple example of like accountants. We don't like them. Shout out to tax season being over. But or depending on when you watch this, you may be in tax season,
Yes.
right? But I mean, years ago they were doing everything manually. right? Files, all of that paperwork, systems, and then QuickBooks came out, and then TurboTax came out, and things like that. And those people who didn't adjust, those accountants that didn't adjust, they didn't have no job, right? But those people who understood, my bookkeepers and my tax people who understood QuickBooks and who understood Tax Turbo and all these things, they were still in play.
Yeah.
They still got paid. They just made their life easier because they could do it 10 times quicker.
Yeah.
So you're actually having, by you being a little bit more open-minded and using the tools, you actually buy back your time, and you can, whether you want to take on more clients, whether you want to have a life, you know what I mean? Like whatever you want to do, this is what's happening with these tools. And like, trust me, like you said, like I completely get it, but at the same time, I'm so excited about it because people who didn't have the confidence to be creative now do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's why I said with ChatGPT, I don't have no graphic design situations, right? Like I have no skills in that. And I'm like creating full blown graphics that if I want to take to a next level, I understand now how to explain to a graphic designer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for my visionaries, right, that like, okay, I'm gonna get a creative and I'm gonna say my idea and that's it. And then you don't really go into detail and they give you something, you're like, oh, they suck.
Yeah.
No, you don't know how to explain exactly
It's
what you
locked in.
want.
It's locked in your head.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what AI is allowing, that even if you just talk it out, right? Hey, I'm about to talk to my videographer, my editor, my whatever. Hey, I want them to do this. Ask me questions of how to better explain it to them so I can get the best output. Boom. They'll break that down. Hey, this is what I want from a big vision, but here is in the way that you can probably understand it. And then ask me questions back, right?
Yeah.
This is how I love from both sides, from the creative side who feels like they're going to get replaced and using it as a tool, but then from like the person who needs the services, how can I better explain it to the people so I can get the best output the same way that I even talk to ChatGPT. And from the model's standpoint, like, and even like speakers, because I know some speakers have this like scare of that too, and coaches. I'm like, yo, duplicate yourself and get a percentage of it. You're able to be doing way more gigs that if you do your business right, you could get a percentage of it. They can use that. I believe, I hope they're doing this correctly. If not, I don't know what they're doing in life. But like companies like Hey Gen are having UGC creators that you just give them a script and that person is going to talk about your products and your services. I'm assuming, I don't know, I'm going to hope the business side is right, that this person that said, hey, you can use my likeness, my image and likeness for your platform, they get a percentage each and every single month.
UGC is user generated content, if anybody doesn't know. On 11 Labs, speaking of voices, you can record your voice. The voice can be used by other people and you get paid every time they use it.
Absolutely.
So if that's happening, I'm sure that's hopefully happening with Hey Gen on the video side.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that and I can assume that because somebody came on my live and told me about the 11 Labs situation, and I was like,
yeah,
ooh, that's fire. Now that you told me the idea, I don't think I'm gonna do it personally. But I was like, oh no, my voice is more valuable. My bad.
Yeah, you're gonna hold on to that. But like we had Nicole McCain on, and she was talking about like half of her Instagram videos are her clone.
Yeah.
So she cloned herself. She made an AI clone what she teaches how to do in my membership,
Yeah.
Your First 5K. She made an AI clone. And then half of her videos are that clone talking to you. So you're talking about
Listen.
speakers. Speakers could have all this output that they didn't have to necessarily do. And I remember back when, I don't know, it's probably, I don't know what year it was more than 10 years ago, when Instagram was called Bourbon.
Okay.
And it first came out. That's when it first came out, it was called Bourbon.
Yeah.
And what you could do is mostly you had this filter that was kind of like an
Yeah.
old camera. And
Yeah.
I remember photographers were so up in arms. They were so mad. And I was a budding photographer. So I counted myself among that group. But they were
Yeah.
so mad because they said, where's my job going to go now that anybody can take their phone out and take a picture?
Yeah.
Right. And at the time, I'm not going to take away from their feelings. Like that was what they
Yeah.
thought. But if you think
Yeah.
about how laughable that is today, that
Right.
you thought that Instagram was going to take your photo job because
Yeah.
everybody can take pictures. But
Yeah.
what it ended up doing is showcasing your photos to millions of more people who you wouldn't be able to show from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's one way of looking at AI. If you want to join us in our rose-colored glasses and you want to have that point of view of like, actually, it's not necessarily coming from my job. It's putting a fire up. It's putting a fire in me to like
Yeah.
step up my game, to give
Yeah.
me more resources, to see how far my potential could go.
And an extra dollar sign to you, especially if you have a 9 to 5, if you was to say, hey, I'm gonna add this, they're people want AI. Like CEOs and all that stuff, they want an AI solution for something. You know what I mean? And if you are the person to provide that, like, yo, in
Mm.
my job, I can do this and it's because of AI, they just looked at you like, oh my God, you are the greatest. You
Well,
are part of the times.
look, I mean, you're saying it because Fiverr's CEO, did you see that? Fiverr's CEO sent
Yes.
out a message. Okay, anybody didn't see it? He sent out a message, an email to all of the freelancers on Fiverr.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
was like this warning message that kind of some people thought it was like, oh, he's saying that we're going to lose our jobs because we're not going to be. What he was saying was AI is coming for your job.
Yep.
And those who embrace AI when thinking about how they're doing their design work, their editing work, their all of that, those are the ones who are going to prevail.
Right.
And I think it was sobering. So some people were scary, but I thought it was really, really smart
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah.
And it is in his best interest as the CEO of Fiverr to have as many freelancers as possible upskilled
Yeah.
and on that same page.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't, I think he was doing a little bit of filtering too. Because if
Yeah.
you got people like, I'm not going to do that, then it's just like, okay, well, you're not going to get hired by people. Like,
Yeah.
like you're going to be bargain based, but you're not going to get hired by people. But it's
Yeah.
just, there's so much more there. And then like this 9 to 5, one of the things that I have really figured out over the past few weeks that I've been excited
Mm-hmm.
about is that it's going to take a long time. It's not going to take forever. It may be like 8 years or something, but it's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
take a while for a plumber, electrician,
Yeah.
the blue collar jobs.
Yeah.
He can't replace you with AI.
Nah. Nah.
So you're going to think about, okay, maybe I'm a plumber and I'm still going to be a plumber, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe I can organize all of my clients with AI.
Yeah.
Maybe I can make content with AI that gets me more leads.
Yeah.
Like, how can AI help my business? And at the same time, there are a lot of people who are white collar.
Mm-hmm.
They got their MBA and they're
Yeah.
being pushed out because
Yeah.
they don't have that skill that you have. To
Yeah.
me, that's super interesting because who are mostly people doing those jobs? Black and brown people.
Yep. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So it's
That's a
super,
fact.
but you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
You got to
It's
stay. This is time to be woke.
that. Hello. Yeah, we good. We good on that. Yeah, because we go.
All right. So, I mean, you have taught us so much in
Yeah.
this conversation. You have taught us the tools, the resources that we need to be looking at.
Yeah.
to grow a business, to grow our personal brand, to have a better, just quality of life. And it's like you are like this faucet of information. Like you're just studying every single day.
I
Uh
try to.
yeah. What's that message you have for anybody who is like they've rocked with us for this long
Yeah.
and they're ready to go, but they're like, you
Yeah.
know what? Right now it's like I don't know where to start. Where do they start? What's the first thing they can do?
Themselves off top. Like, so for me, it started really clicking when I really figured out the natural way, right? We could give you the full blueprint, right? If you don't know how to naturally create content, it makes no difference because we're we're moving against the current with you, right? So it's I always say understanding, and I really should coin this, but there's branding, but then when we're talking about content, there's content branding. There's really figuring out who you are in your natural way of creating. Who do you naturally serve? Like, who do you like talking to? Like, who do you consider you're like, you wouldn't mind being friends with, right? Because the whole point of creating a brand and creating content for people is to feel like you enjoy what you're doing and enjoy talking to the people that you talk to, right?
Yeah.
So creating that safe space, and the only way you can be safe is doing what makes you comfortable, speaking to the people who make you feel safe and comfortable in a schedule that is realistic to you, in a strategy that isn't about algorithm but about the people that you serve, and then figuring out how to monetize it, right? If you understand that kind of cycle, everything else is just add-on bonus. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. I can write all day. Cool. Who am I talking to? I'll just write to them, right? I'm on X, I'm on Threads, I'm on LinkedIn, right? So I may need to understand how they receive information, how my audience receives information on that particular platform. Cool. Once I figure that out, great, cool. What do they need? I can monetize what they need based off what I do, right?
Yeah.
Not off of best practices or what other people are doing or things like that. Like, we were uniquely made. And so our experiences, our research, our findings is just good enough to be paid for, right? So it all boils down to who are you and what do you want to be known for? If you could figure that out, I promise you, you'll be like, hey, so I'm going to do this today. Y'all cool with that? Cool, great. Let's go. Like, it's so, and it's freeing because it costs more to be a character. And we see a lot of characters on social media.
Mm-hmm.
We see people who are not truly themselves. They're one way online, and when you see them in person, you're like,
Yep.
what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't want that for whoever is listening, whoever is watching. Your biggest compliment should be like, yo, whoever you are online is the same person in person, and like, I trust you. Where are we going? What are we
Mm-hmm.
doing? Right? Like, I have a group of people now when I speak in September, I'm like, I don't want to do a typical mastermind. Like, let's go to Disney. They're like, where do I put my deposit?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we could brainstorm while waiting for rides. What? Let's
Yes.
do that.
Yep.
what
Yep.
what are we doing? So
Yes.
figure out who you are and what do you want to be known for, and that is the best thing. I promise you.